I think there's a BLS website, the Bureau of Land and Statistics, I believe is what it stands for, but it actually rates all of the career opportunities in the United States, and it shows the growth. This data is anywhere from 2 to 5 years behind at any given time. But I looked at her. I have a daughter who's a recent graduate mechanical engineer, and early on, I asked her the question very directly. I was like, how did I convince you to do this? And she said, you told me that manufacturing was secretly running the universe, and it was cool, and it was sexier than people thought, even though it's so I tricked her, is what I said, was what happened. But the growth right now shows like industrial engineers at like 14% or something like. I think it's very low. I think it's very behind. And at the same time, it shows software engineers at 22%. I think that's really getting stale, because as software languages have evolved and there's like all these tools on the cloud, like I don't think we need as many programmers as we might have. Like with the university system, always takes a little while to catch up with supply and demand. So I think it'll right size itself, and I think you'll see it in salaries. And I think that the salaries are going to become a key driver. If we go through this manufacturing renaissance, which we're starting to see, I think those skills become more in demand, and they inherently start to fall subject to the rules of supply and demand. I think these new graduates will get paid more. The other thing you have to do is philosophically, we have to make manufacturing cool again. Mm-hmm. We have to make some pride. And Henry Ford sold a lot of cars to his employees, right? He was like, that was the whole concept. I'm going to build you up so you can actually afford to buy this thing that's way better than a horse and carriage. And you become the backbone of society and infrastructure. The reality of things is service jobs and, retail and commerce jobs, for every dollar of that, there's about 50 cents created in the orbit, right? Supporting those functions, supporting those people. So that's like, you get this halo effect. Manufacturing, every dollar is about $1.50 in the halo, right? So it's from a governmental and national pride thing, it's huge, right? So when Ford's coming to your town, it's not the Ford plant that is really driving all that economic engine. It's all the tier 1 suppliers that are now going to be on the perimeter. It's all the tier 2 folks that are now going to be competing for jobs. So it rises with all the ships. But we have to work with universities. We have to work with trade schools. We have to work with all of these types of resources to build some coolness back into manufacturing. And I think the best way you can do it is products that are like just super romanticized, made in the USA. Like that should be really proud, right? Like when you get any version of a product that's been made local for local, it should have like the local flag on, right? It should be a specialty product, and it should be like product red. Product red costs the same price as a regular iPhone, but that some portion of it goes to this. Like we should be doing the same thing with domestically manufactured goods, and the people that make those things should take great pride in it. And also, dirty secret, but the sneakerheads know this. The sneakerheads know the footwear factories that make the best shoes. I'm not going to get into this because I do too, but the sneakerheads know. Now, imagine a world where you'd look at a factory code on a TV and be like, yeah, that's made in Alabama, like got some pride here, that's supported by the university. Like, I think that's the kind of programs we have to do, and we just have to make it cool. And we have to get some brand ambassadors that are cool and make it sound pretty fun.
Are there such initiatives? Sorry to interrupt that. I'm like, I guess like it's almost like an obvious like question, but so I really like the fact that you mentioned red, because I think that's a very, I guess, like interesting like branding opportunity that gives back. But is there anything like that for manufacturing that you know of?
No, and if you guys have inroads to any politicians, you guys have already earmarked the money for this stuff. It's out there. like it's there. I don't know where it goes to. I don't know how it gets spent, but there is money set aside for this domestic manufacturing, and everybody's vying for it. It would be awesome if we actually facilitated some programs that got this out there, that raised awareness. Like, you know, think about
Would
these
be
ads,
awesome.
the ads that have compelled kids to stop smoking for years. Like, that's governmental funding. That's policy change, and like you probably need to do the same thing to bring manufacturing back.